Join me today as we walk from the Roman Fort of Navio to the town of Arnemetiae, which is, in English, Brough to Buxton, about 10.5 miles along the old Roman road of Batham Gate. Continental this morning with an almond croissant and a white coffee from the old Peveril store, just waiting for the 272 bus, which will take us down towards Bradwell and start the walk. Not many people about today, it's a bit gloomy. Fucking hell. Join me today as we walk from the Roman Fort of Navio to the town of Arnemetiae, which is, in English, Brough to Buxton, about 10.5 miles along the old Roman road of Batham Gate. This is the Roman Fort of Navio, which is now called Brough, which in Old English means fort. This was originally built in 80 AD and was about 1.5 acres or something like that in size. And then about 50 years later it was upgraded and then in use till about 350 AD. So in use for a good 200 years. Now this was on a key route here. You go that way, you go to Melandra, which is on the way to Glossop, and then on to Manchester, which is called Mentia, I think. And then the other route that comes through here is from Templeborough on the River Don in South Yorkshire through to Aqvae, which is basically Buxton. I'll talk about Buxton when we get there, but this is the site of where the River Noe comes down. Peaksall water comes from Castleton and it goes on to meet the Derwent. This was a key lead mining route. So basically this was here to protect the route, had what was called a viscus around it, which is like a little village of people who supplied the fort, etc. And it was in use, like I say, for around 200 years. There's a few stones here remaining, and basically what happened, they did some excavations and they found a sort of inscription in a little cellar, which was basically a regiment, or legion as you called them then, from the southwest of France, Aquitaine, were based here. And I'll put an image up with the wordage and what it said on there. So yeah, really interesting site. And then we're going to walk to Buxton, about 10.5 miles, and that is the old Batham Gate road. Some of that is obviously modern road now, but there are a few elements or a few bits of it are scheduled monuments, and that's where they are sort of, you know, you'll see the Roman road and whatever, hopefully. It's a bit foggy today and it's a bit cool. I'm not going to stay too long here, I'll get moving. We're going to go for the village of Bradwell, up over the tops, over the top of Tideswell, etc., down through Peakdale and into Buxton itself. Now Arnemetiae or Arnemega or Arnemesa, there's different ways of pronouncing it, was basically a water goddess, and this was the grove of the water goddess, and I think that's what Buxton means as well as this area. The stone they found referred to this goddess, and it came from the Celtic, so a bit of Romano-British there. It's like I said, a local water goddess, and this is a really good site. I mean, you can't see jack shit today, but this basically is a really good site overseeing 3 major routes for the lead mining that the Romans carried out in this area. So without further ado, we'll crack on. Nice Victorian mailbox there. Didn't see too many of them. Merry Christmas to you all. So as I just alluded to earlier, we're on the Batham Gate road, a Roman road from Navio, the Roman fort in Brough, down to Buxton. Not quite cold start, quite foggy, probably get a good inversion if you're above it. The clouds today, we probably should be when we get into Bradwell. So it's 10.5 miles through Bradwell, past Tideswell, over down to Peakdale, dropping down to Buxton and through a few small places on the way with some points of interest as we go through. So quite a bit of history on this walk. Just talking to a chap there who was stopping at the Bike and Boot and had took his dog up for a walk to the Roman Fort of Navio. So nice to meet you, mate. And I think he's going to go and take a look at the channel, which is always good. So yeah, we'll carry on now into Bradwell. I'll update you when we get there. You can tell this is a Roman road. It's absolutely straight as a die, and looking at the pass down here and the roads up there, I suspect somewhere underneath all of that is the Roman road. I'll put up some info on how they used to build roads. Quite interesting actually. But hopefully we're going to see some sections of it once we get up on the tops. It's crack on through the mist. It's quite eerie today. But I'm hoping when we climb out of Bradwell we might just get above it, and there's some nice inversions yesterday, and I think it might be like this for a couple of days. But anyway, we're just coming into Bradwell now. I can see the sign. So Bradwell, the name originates, there's two forts. One is Bradwell, which is they think is based around the fact there's a big earthworks called the Grey Ditch here that dates from sort of 400 or 500 AD. It stretches right across the valley. I have done a separate video on that, so I'll put a link up to it in the top there. But that's really interesting. It was either the border between Northumbria and Mercia. Some think it was to hold back the Saxons and Angles, and others think it may have been to hold back the Vikings. But it's a huge earthworks, and that's good timing actually, because another legend around here. If you see that sign there, it says Eden Tree, which is a campsite. Now the Eden Tree, you can't see it here, but you've got Win Hill and Lose Hill here. And again, I've talked about that before, but there's quite a famous battle there where Edwin of Northumbria was on Win Hill. Kinwallace, I think his name was, and the Saxons were on Lose Hill, and you can guess who won. However, the other legend around here is that the Eden Tree is actually used to be called the Edwin Tree, and actually they captured Edwin of Northumbria at a later date and hung him from that tree. Whether that's true or not, but who wants to get away with a good story? So yeah, Bradwell, nice little village. We'll catch up when we get towards the centre, and I can update you a bit more on the history of the place. Bradwell playing field there. They have a bit of a fete there in summer, and they do things with fireworks now and bonfire night. Really nice little community here. So we're heading towards a place called Smalldale. Bradwell goes back to Neolithic times, so they found sort of Neolithic, Bronze Age stuff. There's a few barrows in the area, and at one time I think there were several little hamlets, like I think one was called Town Hill, one was Smalldale, and I can't recall what the other one was. I'll put it all up. But then they formed Bradwell, which comes from Broadwell or Bradswell, which I've mentioned about the Grey Ditch. Really came into its own in sort of 18th century with quarrying and mining in the area. It was recorded in the Domesday Book in 1066 as being held by a Leofing Owain of Bradwell and Sprott of Bradwell. But by 1086, Mr. William Peveril was listed as both a lord and tenant-in-chief. Back then there were about 8 villages. There's quite a few old buildings here. We're coming into Smalldale now. Quite a big Wesleyan sort of impact around here. There's several chapels in the area, and became Unitarian at the end of the 18th century. There's a Baptist chapel here, Methodist, you name it. So quite a lot of religion around here. Beautiful little town. They've got some really cool Christmas lights. There's a brook that runs through the middle, and essentially that was that's powered by water, so it's like hydroelectric. But yeah, we're following this road now. This is the old Batham Gate road, so the old Roman road sort of veers off now and up the hill. So we've got a bit of a climb coming, which should be fun. That's a Bowling Green pub, one of 3 pubs. I think there's a White Hart, which is the oldest. around 1676. And then there's the shoulder mutton on the way out. Most of the ascent today, which is about 1,000 foot, is going to be now. Sun's trying to burn through there. See a bit of blue. So hopefully we shall be above it in a bit. That'd be really cool if we are, because a cloud inversion across this valley will look superb. So keep going up here for a little bit longer. Interesting. Smalldale Old Hall, IH 1670. I've not seen IH before, whether that's a builder's name or some sort of calendar I'm not aware of. I do a bit of digging. Nice old barn or something up there, and the trees, that'll make a nice picture with all the mist and everything. But yeah, crack on. That's an entrance into the Breeden Quarry, which is huge. I say I've done a video on that before. I'll put another link up with that many links in this video. But you can really see now we're on the cusp of just coming out of the cloud. We've still got a bit of climbing to do, so I'm hoping that we'll just be skimming over it, which will be absolutely superb. Yes, you can see the mist starting to clear now. So, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Because they do get quite high up. We're almost at the top now, and then it's pretty much flat and a long descent down into Buxton, but still on the old Roman road. As you can see, a lot of it's tarmacked now, but as I said earlier, there are a few bits that are still visible. I don't know if you can get to them, so I think they're on land, farmers' land, but from what I've seen on pictures, you can see, you get a picture, a view of them. I just hope, you know, we can always do a bit of trespassing if it's not too bad. But and the aim is when I get to Buxton, I'm going to catch a 62 bus back, which should be good actually. That's a new service that goes from Buxton, Chapel on the Frith, Edale, Hope and Castleton, because I didn't need to have a bus that did that. You could never get a bus directly. But yeah, hopefully it's starting to come above the clouds. Here you can just see silhouetted over there, Shatton Moor and Abney Moor, over towards the gliding club, etc., just appearing through the mist. So looking good, looking good. Look at that inversion. We are literally just skimming the top of that. We've got Lewes Hill there with Kinder in the background. We can just see Win Hill, Abney Moor, Shatton Moor, Rebellion Knoll. We have just literally come out of the clouds. That's absolutely superb, and that should develop as we go on. Brilliant. Look at this for a barn. Superb. If I remember rightly, that's 17th or 18th century. But the sun's out now. That is really developing well now, the inversion. We are quite literally just above the cloud now. Absolutely fantastic. And that is a hell of an inversion. If you're on Mam Tour today, mate, you'll get a good one. But yeah, what a barn. Just look at that. Got some superb pictures now of that inversion down the whole of the Hope Valley and along Bradwell Dale and all that sort of thing. I think we might be nipping in and out of it as we go along the road. So this is still the old Batham Gate road. I think it actually, the true line went across there, so we'll catch up. Can't see any obvious signs of where it is, but it's probably been ploughed up. But there are some bits later on which we will see. So yeah, I think we go right here. So there was a path. I mean, as one that cuts across, I thought there was a different one coming from over there, but oh well, never mind, we're back on the road now. Back on the route to the old Roman road. which you can see heading off into the distance there. When we find the bit where you can see where it was across the fields, I will do a bit of spiel on it. See the old lead minings here. That inversion is still in full flow there, look. That's right across the Hope Valley, that is. But yeah, you can see this is a Roman road. Look how straight that is. So I'm not sure if it used to cut across here. Looking at the map, either way. They knew how to build a road then, didn't they? Straight as a die. So let's just skip in and out of the cloud now, but yeah, I love this. Just imagine that you're walking in the sort of footsteps of Roman legionnaires sort of 2,000 years ago, and yet we're still following the same tracks, and no doubt they followed tracks that were already there in a lot of cases. You know, there's a lot of quite big pathways around here. You know, the road up to Glossop and Manchester, you've got the Portway, which I think goes from the Hanging Stone near Sandy Acre, Stapleford that way, all the way to Mamtor. That's a prehistoric Neolithic route. Back then they used to keep to the ridges, because this will be forest and swamp and quite difficult to navigate, whereas up on the tops you could see where you were going, you could see where potential, you know, people were living from fire, smoke from fires, stuff like that, and you get a good visibility. So there's a lot of those around here, so a lot of pathways that we walk on today. It could be thousands of years old, which always fascinates me. Like who walked along those ways, what were they doing, how did they live? Absolutely fascinates me, always has. So yeah, in the footsteps of our ancestors, although I don't think I've got much Roman in me, but quite possibly, who knows, quite a bit of Viking apparently. Got a few waypoints on the map that I want to just check out, so let's crack on. Some old disused rakes down there, lead mines. You can see the spore heaps here. Similarly just over this brow and over in that direction, Bradwell Moor, where I was camping with Phil Ward on Halloween. Doesn't seem that long ago, Phil. Check his channel out. Phil does a good channel, very informative. Yeah, lots of different camping gear and stuff, and you know, he's quite a character too. So yeah, look at these spore heaps here. You know, a lot of these lead mines are 17th century, but you've got to think, or 18th century, sorry, a lot of these, but you've got to think that, you know, the Romans were in this area, you know, they must have been mining lead in these areas too. So I'm always a bit sort of, you know, although they were quite big in the 18th century, you know, were they actually a lot older than that? Of course, the Romans loved lead. For water pipes and all sorts of drinking vessels. So malleable, isn't it? Yet also toxic, funnily enough. But yeah, this looks like an old quarry. See where people have been going through on dirt bikes and the like. Be a cracking sight. Let's go have a quick look. Got plenty of time today. The bus doesn't go back till about 4:15. So let's go have a quick look at this. Yeah, I love it. I used to do quite a lot of dirt bike riding. I don't do any harm in a place like this, are you? But yeah, look at this. This looks cool. Yeah, look at how deep that is. Wow, that's an old quarry. Yeah. Superb. Fantastic. A lot of industrial heritage, you know, you think of the Peak District and you think, you know, peaceful, not many people live here, but back in the day, a lot of activity, mainly mining and quarrying, but you can imagine how many people work this. Look how deep that goes, and it had all been quite a manual process at the time. Superb. Right, we'll get some pictures of that, crack on over there. Anyway, superb, that little quarry there. Let's motor on. like they used to in the legions. Yomp, yomp, yomp. Still zooming in and out the cloud a bit here, but you can still see the rest of the inversion in the valley there. Be quite a cloudy day today, so not sure what we're going to get in terms of views. Be good to do this in spring, because along old Roman roads you tend to find a lot of like herbs and plants that have some sort of medicinal properties, because they used to drop them at the side of the road, the seeds, and then if they were obviously marching and they needed something, it would be growing at the side of the road. So all sorts of plants, like, I'll put a list up, but yeah, you'll find all sorts at the side of the road. So yeah, if you did this in spring and summer, you probably would find something a lot more interesting. You can sort of imagine, can't you? You know, Roman legionnaires going from the fort at Navio down to Buxton, across these moors in the mist and the fog, and there'd be tribes out here. I think it was tribes like the Brigantes were quite a big tribe in this area, coming out of the mist and attacking you, can't you? It must have been quite sort of, you know, dangerous travelling in these parts at that time. You know, just imagine it, can't you? Walking along in the mist like this, and then loads of painted warriors coming out of nowhere attacking you, screaming and shouting. I don't know if you've ever seen them Celtic, I can't remember if they call them phalanxes or something like that. It's like a big horn. It makes a great sound. I'll see if I can find a clip. But you can imagine if you heard that sort of war horn going off, and then tribes coming out of nowhere and attacking you. Probably quite wild people. You'd be straight into the old tortoise shell, wouldn't you? They used to have like that, oh, what's it called? There's a certain formation where they would, oh, I'll have to look up what it is, but they would form that sort of formation with a shield, so they were protected, and it was like a tortoise or a turtle type affair. But yeah, we really are sort of in the cloud now. Superb. We follow this now, probably till we meet the A623, and then we cut across. There is a bit down here on the map that looks interesting, so we'll talk about that when we get there, because it's not too far away. The Roman road itself cuts across this field, but that looks like it's probably been ploughed and all sorts. You can't really see where it goes, but it goes across the field. The road does a loop round, and then we join it again. But there's no real, I don't think there's any real obvious signs of it there. But apparently there is in a couple of places, so we'll keep an eye out for them. About 3 miles in, Tetsudo, that was that Roman formation. I'm sure it's that. I mean, they used to carry some weight of kit, so you can imagine it probably was a day's march from Navio to Aqva Arnemetiae. I'll never pronounce it right, mate, don't even try. But as we come round here, there is apparently on the left, on the map, it says enclosure. On the really old maps, it says encampment, implying that they used to think it was probably, you know, somewhere that the Romans camped, potentially. But now it says enclosure, and that normally means post-Roman, generally. If you see it in like Gothic script on an Ordnance Survey map, yeah, you can see a bit of an earthwork there. So yeah, in that field there is an old enclosure. So it could be Roman, who knows? I'm no expert who is on the past. No one really knows what happened around here. But yeah, you sort of see a spot there, can't you? Surrounded by a bit of a low bank. So yeah, that might even be, let me just go and double check where we are with respect to the Roman road, because that could could be it. Oh yeah, this is where the Roman road comes across the field. I reckon that could be. It's a definite like ridge. See if I can just climb up here and sort of show it. But there's definite, you can see a definite line there, can't you? Coming up, and there is part of it round here that is actually meant to be like the Roman road. It joins here, literally here. I think that could probably be it, you know. Try not to break your neck on the wall. Yeah, see this line here? It's quite raised. That could well be. And then behind that is where the enclosure is. So I think that could well be the Roman road. Hopefully. There is a bit round here. It did look like that in the pictures. You can see the definite ridge. I'll double check that with grid references, but it would have come over that hill and cut across straight through there. So yeah, just get off here now without breaking my neck. And then it joins us back here, so obviously been dug out with this new road now. I suspect that was coming through there, the Roman road. Superb, superb. And we are walking in the footsteps of the Romans here. Fascinating. I know not everyone finds this stuff fascinating. The Roman road now follows a modern road, or vice versa. Dick. The modern road follows a Roman road now, winding away down towards the A623. Well, yeah, fascinating that. You can't get in to see any of it, unfortunately. I think it's a scheduled monument as well. We may see other segments, but I'm pretty certain that's the one that people mention you can see. Medic! There's a haze outdoors, would say. You can tell which channels I watch, can't you? Look like a little mouse or a shrew or something. That I think it's like a mouse. So we are not going to get any views today. I think we are going to be in Clag all the way into Buxton. Sadly, I don't think this is going to lift. It didn't really lift much yesterday, and we're descending rather than ascending. So I think we peaked early. You know what? Look at that. Could that be the Roman road there? That's a definite ridge all the way along there. Just going to go and double check on the map where we are. Could well be, you know, because in a minute we do another dog leg and the Roman road cuts right across some fields. So we'll keep a very close eye out, because I think it goes through to the left here. Again, not 100% certain, but there's definitely a line of something right across this field on the map. It shows the Roman road coming through here and carrying on along here. So, is it across there and then across there? Might be over here. Trouble is, it's all been ploughed up. Look at that, someone's put a driveway through there. But that does look sort of like it could have been the road there, couldn't it? But it's showing on the map that it carries on over here. Any sort of ridge now, I'm going to think it's a Roman road. But that looked definitely from the side like it was, and then it carried on that way. So it carries on across there. We loop round the road here and meet it up again. So they like to build things in straight lines, the Romans, didn't they? Yeah. But we carry on down here now, do a bit of a dog leg around this farm. So I think that's you can see like a, yeah, that ridge disguised it, but I think that is, it carries on down there, the road. Definitely looks like something there. Interesting stuff. I just love poring over old maps before I go on a walk and researching the history, because there's always, I think the map reading company, check their website out and their YouTube channel, like he says, there's always something interesting nearby, always. No matter where you are, you can be in the middle of nowhere, there'll be something of interest. Normally historical interest or geological interest. There is something interesting nearby. And I think too many of us these days just walk through a landscape trying to tick off trig points and do so many miles in a day and all. Well, take your time a little bit. Observe what's around you, and you'll be surprised at what's actually happened in the past, and still happening in some cases, around you as you walk through these little places. So, after that little lecture, dog leg through here, and then the Roman road cuts back and meets us up there, and we're back on track. We left the Roman road a little bit again. That's just over off to our right, and up here, can't see it in the mist, which is a bit of a shame. There's an early Bronze Age barrow called a Bradwell. So that's quite a small barrow now. It's been ploughed and stuff like that, so not as noticeable. We ain't going to see jack shit today. So we're going to rejoin the road on a footpath in a bit. So we're going to get down to the A623, then we go off piste for a little bit, which will be nice. As I don't mind road walking, but after a bit, just start to make your feet ache a little bit. So yeah, then we're going to take some footpaths across. When we're down here, we're not far from Peak Forest. So all of this area used to be a royal hunting forest in the time of William the Conqueror. So people were allowed to live and whatever here, but they weren't allowed to hunt. They were allowed to take wood if they had a certain licence. So, and Peveril Castle was the main admin centre around here under William Peveril. But yeah, all of this was the Peak Forest or Royal Hunting Forest, and that little village hamlet has retained the name Peak Forest. Mount Pleasant Farm, just on the A623 now. This is where it's going to get a bit dicey, because we're going to have to walk along this for a little bit. I've tried to follow the line of the actual Roman road as close as possible, but in some cases that's not feasible. So I need to be on the other side of the road there, and we'll walk that way. But this will be a bit dicey. We're over now, and we'll carry on down here. On the verge of all this shit. But yeah, we go around this dog leg and then we go footpath and across, following the line of the Roman road again. The Roman road cuts across these fields, and then yeah, back on track over there. But I'll catch up with you when we got past this bit. Look at all this shit. People just chuck it out of the fucking car windows, are cunts, don't they? Absolute fucking wankers. Absolute tossers, mate. If I ever catch them, mate, they'll be eating it. I fucking tell you. We'll see. Trying to fall on the road now, so I'll stop filming. This is again following the line of the Roman road, apparently. So a bit of off-piste now. We're doing a bit of sheep herding. Heap herding? What the fuck was that all about? Yeah, the Roman road just here to the right, to this footpath. Going through here, apparently. We follow this through and across here, do a bit of a dog leg, and then yeah, we're back on the Roman road, heading down towards Peakdale. If I recall, I can see the style there. This path isn't obvious. It's not a very well walked path by the looks of it. There's some hounds over there being exercised. That's good to see. I don't see that very often these days. I do like to see that. Bit of tradition. There's the rest of the hunt. Superb, mate. It's good to see these old English traditions. I know it's a bit of a love-hate thing, but I'm a bit of a fan, actually, to be honest. That's the signpost to Batham Gate. We are on Batham Gate, and we're going down to Batham Gate. So Batham Gate is a medieval name for the Roman road, which ran from Templeborough in South Yorkshire on the River Don to Buxton, where we just started at Navio, and the spa town of Buxton. Now in Derbyshire, and so gate in northern England dialects means a road, so it means a road to the bath town, Batham Gate. So Batham is the town with a bath. Roman baths were there. We'll have a look at them when we're in Buxton, hopefully. I've got a bit of time to kill. There's some disputed routes about the bit from Brough to Templeborough, where it goes over Stanage and Stanage Pole. Some think it does, some think it doesn't, but I'm not going to get too involved in that. But we're going to follow this now down onto the road, and then we follow back on track with the Roman road, then back down towards Peakdale. So on the map, I'll put a little bit of image. This shows a little bit of a raised bit here, and this is where the Roman road runs, and you can see we're going to go through over there and start back on the road again. We're on the Roman road again. Stunning views. Absolutely not. So yeah, we'll keep putting on down here to Peakdale. Looks like an old quarry there to the side of the road. Not much happening around here at the moment. Hear my feet squelching. Don't think there's much else really. I've got some turkey and stuff in cobs. They are cobs, nothing else will do. So we shall have them for lunch. We're walking back in history. So as I said before, if you like history, if you like hiking, if you like wild camping, if you like ginger bearded idiots ranting away, follow the channel. Subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. Comment. I always reply to people's comments. I'm always up for a bit of banter, so no holds barred on that front. So anyway, on that note, we'll crack on. I don't know if any of you are real men, the ones with beards, ever have this mood. I could get about a pint of water out of my beard. Not that I'd like to drink it, but who needs a water filter? Not on a day like this, mate. Absolutely dripping out of me. Oh well, save me washing it later. We're about halfway, maybe a little bit over halfway now. Makes you wonder how far these Roman legionaries, what they carried and how far they walk. I think they can walk about 30 miles in a day, if I recall, but they did carry some weight, if I remember. I'll find out some facts. This road's a bit dicey. The fucking wagons and all sorts. Cement mixer there. So yeah, I'll put some facts up about that because it's quite interesting, that, isn't it? You know, people were a lot fitter then. Definitely a lot more active. This is the village of Smalldale. A lot of these little villages cropped up in about the 1800s when the demand for limestone started to increase. So I think Great Roxdale is nearby here. But yeah, these would have been built just for the quarries, nothing more. Worm Hill's that way. There's some Roman sites there. We're down towards Peakdale, then Batham Gate, about a mile to Batham Gate. But yeah, so it's not quite a quaint little place, this Smalldale. Drive through here occasionally, it's a bit of a shortcut around the back when I've been to the tip. But yeah, lovely little cottages. And we come down to a crossroads down here, if I remember rightly. Playing a bit of concrete there. This is pretty much a straight run now, all the way down into Buxton. We join the A6. 2 hour walk so far. 10.5 miles in total, I think. 1,000 foot of ascent, which was pretty much all at the start. So yeah, enjoying it. And I've been out for, like I say, 4 or 5 weeks, so it's good to get out, get some fresh air. I find my neck and my back start to seize up, and that's all freed up this morning. The last couple of days I was really starting, I mean, sat in the sofa eating pork pies and turkey and the like. Start to seize up a bit, but get out for a walk, mate. You soon loosen up. Just got to keep at it, haven't you? If you don't, if you don't use it, you lose it. You can see the old quarry at the back there. These houses look literally back onto it. It's a fair old size, that. I think it's still in use, or if not that particular bit, there is still working quarry around here. But I'm just trying to look at which way we go. If you go left over there, you go to Millersdale. I think we are going straight on here. Here's the yard where the wagons come in. There's some waiting down there. So there's a quarry, or a current one. Over here, I'm going to look a good picture actually. That's the old station master's house, that. You can tell by the style, can't you? But that'll make a good picture, that. But we're just coming up to now, I think that's what it is, the Great Rock Social Club. Yes, but that's a cracking place to go for a pint. You can't beat a good old social club for a pint, cheap pint. There's some mushrooms there. Look like they're dying off. But there are definitely some shrooms. I'll get a picture of them. But anyway, yeah, Great Rock Social Club there. We're coming to Batham Gate. There we are, we're in Peakdale. And that's the Great Rocks Club, Peakdale. Similar to Smalldale. So it grew up around the quarry in the 1800s when the demand for limestone started to go through the roof. So, before that, probably not a lot here. But you know, pop in for a pint. We carry on down here, I think. Yeah, all the way to the A6. There's Batham Gate ahead of us. You can hear the A6 which is running over there. So we're just going to descend into that. And oh, look at that over there. Just below the cloud line again, aren't you? We're going to drop down into Buxton, then follow the A6 down into the marketplace. Grab a bite to eat there. Got my sandwiches with me. And a flask of coffee. And then we're going to get the 4:45 bus, which will be quite cool, I think. Although you won't see any stunning views. That's for sure. But it sounds like an interesting bus ride. It's a new service, like I said earlier, called the 62. But we'll see how it goes. See how busy it is. Because if there aren't many people using it, they might well lose it. They fought quite hard to get it done, apparently. So it'll be interesting to see how many people are actually using it. Well, anyway, as you can see, Roman road, straight as a die. Batham Gate, named after the Roman road. And then we'll turn left and down into Buxton. That building you can see there in the distance, a new one. That's a Nestle factory where they bottle Buxton spring water. So they're owned by Nestle now. So that's over there, the tip's over there as well. You can tell that's a Roman road. Look how straight that is. Amazing, isn't it? Back in the day they could build things so straight. Just makes you wonder how they did it. But it's amazing really, isn't it? So, approaching the A6 now. So that's going to be a joyous walk, because our modern roads tend to follow Roman roads. When you think of like the A1, which I think was Watling Street, there's a few of us, you know, Great North Road and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, a lot of it was on the tarmac. Medic, sign down. Anyway, not sure if that was someone who knew me then or not. Just look at all the shit. Side of the roads. Tosses, mate. Absolute scum of the earth. Corbar Hill trying to poke its head up out of the distance over there. We're just dropping down to Fairfield now. And then down, and then we'll just walk straight for the main shopping, Spring Green, whatever it's called, and straight through to the marketplace. Here we are, Buxton at last. Just head down the hill now through the town. We'll go and annoy everyone and press these lights here, I think. Why not? Why not indeed? Another Victorian post box. And this is the parish church of St Peter of Fairfield, established 2060 AD. Yeah. That's stunning, isn't it? That's what you call a viaduct. Then you had to build shit then, mate. There we are in Buxton, opposite the Baths and the hotel. Having a cob. 10.5 miles done, mate. Cracking walk that. Have a wander around a bit and we'll get the bus home. This was built by the Duke of Devonshire, first purpose-built hotel in the UK in the 18th century. While you're here, my favourite place in Buxton